In CSS, containers are represented by rectangles. You can quickly check that by going to any div container that you might have created and inspecting that element in your Chrome developer tools. It will quickly highlight a whole rectangle. Those rectangles have properties, and those properties are what is known as the box model. By accessing and modifying those properties, you can change how your rectangle is going to look. You can give it a certain width, a height, you can add padding to the content, you can add borders, and you can also add margins to other elements. In this lesson, we'll begin by looking at some of these properties. The first thing we want to do is give this particular container here a unique ID so that we can select it in CSS. So I'm going to give it an ID of box. Now in an empty CSS file, I'm going to do a selection by ID by using the hash key and then typing in box. Open up your curly brackets, and let's begin by giving this rectangle a background color of yellow. Now refresh the page. As you can see, we've got that happening. So what else do we want to change in here? Let's give this a width. So we can give it a width of 200 pixels. So you type in 200, but you have to also type px, which stands for pixel. Don't forget to add a semicolon. And that gives your rectangle a defined set width. You could also specify the width as a percentage of the page, because as we saw, the rectangle occupies 100% of the horizontal space. So we can actually give it a percentage of that area. For example, it could occupy only 30%. And if you refresh the page, you'll see that it's only occupying 30% of that space. And if you change the size of the screen of the page, that area will also become bigger, because now 30%, it's still 30%, but the total area has grown as well. Besides the width, you can also have a play with the height. So let's set this back to 200 pixels, and you can give this as well a height of say 100 pixels. And now we've got a height as well. So the other property of the box model that I want to show you is the padding, which is a separation between the edge in here and the actual content. So we can give this a padding of 20 pixels, and that will show like so. Now, this thing is important to understand, is that the actual width of this container, of this rectangle that you see, is not just the width we've specified here, but it's actually the width plus the padding. So the padding gets added to this total width. So our total width here will not be 200, but it will be 240, because we're adding padding on the left and we're padding on the right. To summarize, elements in CSS are represented as rectangles, and by modifying the properties of this rectangle, which is the same as talking about the box model, that's just how CSS represents these rectangles, you can change different things. You can change the width, the height, the padding, and we'll see a few more options in the next lesson.